about living here in the village? What do you love to do most?
Well, there were two things that I really like to do. One I've talked about a lot is play tennis. But the other thing I do is I write. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to do much of that since I'm on the board. But my wife and I, we're engaged in a lot of different activities here, which we like. So we go to the film club, say, and go to the rock and rollers. We like dancing. Uh, we usher at a couple of places. Laguna Woods Playhouse, we're going to usher there tonight. And we usher at Soca, which is a really interesting experience. And we have a lot of friends that we have made here over the years, so we like to get together with them. So I can't say that I have a day that's a lack of activity. When I first moved here, I really had very little interest in being on a board. I've been on boards before, but these were mainly philanthropic. And when I came here, I just wanted to do my thing. But things started to get progressively what I felt was worse. And I became more concerned. I had friends who were more politically involved, and they got me interested. And the more interested I got, the more I felt, well, it's time for me to step up. I've been taking it's time to give back to the community, and that's always been a driver for me as throughout my life, really. My mother was a volunteer, I remember, in a nursing home. She said she'd like to go and feed the old people. She was 75 and doing that. So I think that's important. And this was one way to do it. I wanted to help people, and since I've been on the board, that's a focus that I've had, to try and help people here in the community. I think that's really important. People are not black and white, they're gray. So they all have some good features and maybe some features you're not too crazy about, but the point is to get along and to try to accomplish things. And in terms of the residents, the most surprising thing is no matter what the issue is, there are going to be people who are fervent on either side. These are elderly people. They've come here to retire. They want to take things easy. They want to have a good time. And as long as you don't disturb their pattern, everything is just fine. But if there's one thing that impinges upon them, they become really enraged and they start storming the boards and writing us letters. Well, they have to, again, have a broader outlook, which is what we're trying to do. And that doesn't always work.
You can't please everybody.
You can't please everybody. But what I think is important is to speak to them, to listen to what they have to say, maybe modify your position, but also try to explain what you want to do and why you're doing it. And I don't think the board does as good a job on that aspect as they can. And that's why I'm really happy to have an opportunity to talk to you, to talk to people, to try and explain what we're trying to do. We're not really bad guys. And there may be a few, but I don't think at this point they have much influence. So we want to move ahead.
Yeah, because we're in this transition phase. We own everything now. There's no management company.
Right. So we can't blame them. But I can tell you, we've immediately had complaints about the management.
Really?
Oh, yes. It always starts with day one. In fact, I mentioned to Brad Hudson when he first got here, I said, you're in your honeymoon period now, take advantage of it. And he agreed with me. He realizes that too. So we're getting complaints about what management is doing. A lot of it, unfortunately, is based on rumors. And these rumors invariably are wrong. They're highly exaggerated. And so we need to help dispel some of the rumors. But a lot of the information we have is still confidential.
Right, that's tough. You
And
can't speak your mind.
that's
on
right.
anything.
So, when it involves employees or employee relationships and changes, we may know things that the public doesn't know, but we really can't divulge it. It is complicated. We have the GRF, and people don't understand what GRF is. Well, before we had our own management company, there were these mystical boards or forces or organizations that were controlling people's lives. One was GRF, and the other was PCM, and they just didn't understand what these forces were, what they were doing. All they knew is that they were impinging on their lives and causing them all kinds of grief. Well, it goes beyond that. They have to understand that the way we're governed, each of the mutuals has a board. So there's one for United, there's one for Third. I'm on the Third board. A GRF, which is really in charge of all our recreational facilities, all our services, everything essentially outside of the mutual housings. And we still have the towers. They're still part of the community, and they pay assessments, which people don't understand, even though they're not governed by this new management corporation, or they don't use them as their management tool. And now we put in another board. There's the VMS board. So and they really have no direct relationship to the residents. The members of that board are the members of the boards of the mutuals. So the directors are members, but not the residents, and they really have no direct obligation to the residents. Of course they do, but you can't go to their meetings. They are not governed by Davis Sterling. They are like a private corporation, and people don't understand that, and they may be troubled by it. So we have 11 members on Third, 11 members on United, 11 directors. They're directors on GRF. We have 5, that's 33. We have 5 on the Towers board, that's 38. And now we have this other board, the VMS board, that's another 9 people. So you have 47 people floating around who somehow are controlling your destiny. And when people move in here, we give them a brochure, or we give them a series of documents trying to indicate how this place is structured, and most of them take a look at it, they glance at it, and they just put it aside. It's so complex, they don't want to know about it. And I think that's probably always going to be an issue. What I would say, and I've talked about this before, is yes, it's nice to have experience, but I think you also need some other qualities. And I mentioned good judgment. I think you need to have a sense of creativity, of curiosity, a willingness to try new things, a willingness to learn. There's a lot of learning still going on, and we're not too old to still learn. An ability to listen to people, an ability to talk to people, and try to explain what you're doing. So I think there's a myriad of characteristics that would help you. And I think what's important for a board is that we have diversity. Not everyone thinks the same way. I don't think that boards where everything is rubber stamped is necessarily the best way to go.